Open the Book of the Black Earth, and then let's add some more pages.
Necronomicon is coming.
So I've been really busy with a lot of stuff like work and rearranging this place, and also a little side project that I've been working on since I got home this afternoon. And I thought I'd talk about it a little bit. One thing I do want to say, I'm kind of sorry I haven't gotten out the March astrology video yet. Might do it tonight or later on this week, hopefully. But anyway, on to the good news. So when reading through the Necronomicon, as many of you have that are viewing this video, or if you're seeing it for the first time, or if you've looked at it even once, you can tell that it's kind of confusing. And like I've said before, a lot of the formulas have jumping in between pages, and there's little clues, and some things aren't even defined well in the book, and I'm still running into those issues. But in order to dissect the book, I've made different materials and ways of breaking things down easier just from reading the book and pulling things out, but I thought I'd put them back in. So I've actually been working on a little bit of my own Book of Shadows, as it were, given that I work with the Necronomicon and its energies essentially on a daily basis. I kind of made my own working draft of a more complete Necronomicon that would include various explanations of how to do the different formulas, as well as a lot of different things that I found along the way. Kind of didn't put too much planning into this because I thought, you guys know me by now, I'm kind of spontaneous with how I explain stuff. Let me just kind of go through the different things that I added. In the Testimony of the Mad Arab Part 1, I ended up dissecting things a bit and explaining about how the mountains of Mashu are related to the pineal gland. Anything that was a confusing term, I would put little parentheses with definitions or clues as to other parts in the book to go to help discern what that means. I gave a deeper explanation of the Aga, the Bandar, and the Ara in relation to the id, the ego, and the superego, not in that order. I'm not being that specific. As well as other things, trying to go at a good pace. In regards to the Zonai and their attributes, I was able to kind of give a little bit more of an explanation in terms of how the Zonai relate to one another. I also included the seal of Ur in the in that section of the book because it is a seal just like the other seals of the Zonai, albeit the fact that it is not associated, or I have not yet associated it with a particular deity. Then in the Book of Entrance, I further disseminated how to go through the gate walking and further specified things. In the incantations of the gates, I also provided the gate pictures. Kind of wanted to make everything flow a little bit better this time around. So as I'm doing my own personal work, I can just jump in. I can just go to a section and follow the particular format there. As I'm going through it, and it's over 200 pages by now. I also included an explanation of how to walk the gate of Arzir of the outside. Very, very extensive ritual. I gave a much further explanation of both the fire god and the watcher and their purpose and how they relate to us psychologically. In the Maklu text, I was also able to kind of track down and locate on my own, and kind of by happenstance and by fault, these other tablets, which are known as the Surfu tablets, that talk about how we kind of break these divine laws known as the May that Ishtar once held on to. And when we break these sacred laws, that's when we get bad luck, and we end up attracting spirits to cause things, bad luck, sickness, and then there are incantations and rituals to remove those. And I felt like including it in here, in both my personal practice and in this book, because if we're always trying to cleanse ourselves, if we're always trying to, be a better person and get rid of the negative attachments that we may have when we get angry at somebody or when they get mad at us, the more we cleanse ourselves, the more of a pure being that we can be, which is, of course, as I've been saying this whole time, that's the purpose of the Necronomicon. So I kind of thought it fit really well. I also moved around the English translations of the spells in the Magickology text because I felt like putting them, one next to the other would really help to understand. If you understand the translation while you're chanting it, it's much more powerful in a way, I think. In the Book of Calling, I further disseminated the entrance of Ganzir, made it more clear and understandable. I also added a couple of prayers and rituals for our ancestors because in my research, the Babylonians and Mesopotamians overall really revered their ancestors, and that's another way to attract negative spirits is to not honor your ancestors. So when we open the Gate of Ganzir, we should also kind of provide an offering to those that have passed on because you're opening that door. Now, so we're in the Book of Calling, and I also added, along with the spells that the Mad Arab left in regards to Ishtar's sphere, I thought I'd kind of throw in some things that had to do with the other Zonai. So I have different prayers for the other Zonai that the Mad Arab did not get a chance to or chose not to include. And I found these prayers by looking at old Mesopotamian tablets, by going to libraries, doing a truckload of research online. I feel like everybody that wants to dive into a spiritual practice should do something as deep as this to really understand the system, because spirituality is a really big part of everybody, even if they really don't have one. I think that it brings a really nice, encompassing wholeness to the rest of your life, and it's a basis that it's a viewpoint that you can use to go about your daily life. So, as deep as you can go, as rich as your life can be. As I continue on. And in the Book of the 50 Names of Marduk, I put a bunch of clues and tips about chanting names and different ways of invoking them. I also put in my own notes that I'd been taking all these years into the book itself, below each of the seals, so I can really just jump in between them and find the seal of the name of Marduk that I want to use. Make it faster, easier, and just much more accessible. We're scrolling through here. In the Magan text, I did a couple of really interesting things. I added a couple more tales from ancient tablets that I thought really fit in with the ones that were included already in the Magan text. So I have a continuation of the story of Inanna's descent, what happened after that. I thought, and the way that the story goes, I think it really helps to bring out Inanna's character. As I scroll through it, in the Eurelia text, I was able to put in the exact way that you would do a Eurelia ritual when you advance to that part of the book. Each of the spirits that are listed herein, I gave a little bit more of an explanation for them because, of course, I can't hold all this info in my head, so I'm starting to write it down now. Or I have been, and now I'm putting it in a much more organized fashion. And then I also kind of looked into the Eurelia text in regards to the Gate of Arzir and how that is the realm of the Zodiac. So I kind of did a lot of research into the Babylonian Zodiac and was able to put some information on each of those spirits, because remember, Marduk fixed the Anunnaki as spirits in the sky when he divided Tiamat in half. So those the zodiac that we work with when we advance to Ganzir, I think that this is a much easier way to access those energies with having notes on what the aspects of the different zodiac are, as well as different sigils for them, which are of my own research and design. In the Testimony of the Mad Arab Part 2, he gives a lot of explanations and he's repeating himself a lot. I kind of broke each of those down by adding little explanations to everything. And that's about it. So I've spent a lot of time working on this, and I have a couple of people in my life that are helping me to grammarize it and really helping me to figure out what I need to change and fix to make it ebb and flow better. This is my first real endeavor as writing anything really big that really matters, in my opinion. But I think it's been a fascinating ride so far, and I know that I talked about this really fast because I didn't want to make it last forever, but I'm curious as to anybody that's working with the Necronomicon, has read through it, or is just starting with it. What kinds of things do you think would be good in a further brought out explanation of that text? What things could I add that would make working with the Necronomicon easier, that would make things more understandable? I'm looking for some inspiration as to where to go next. So, send me an email, priestofthenecro@gmail.com, or put them in the comments. And I'm really hoping to get some good ideas from you guys. So thanks for letting me share this. Good hunting.